Hi guys, welcome back to the Oreaganic podcast. I'm your host Reagan, and I'm going to be very straight up with you guys. Today's episode is going to be very off the cuff, because the thoughts that have to come through with a force and a ferocity that cannot be confined to the normal structure in which I record these episodes. So here we go, here we are. I'm going to pull from my experiences I'm going through right now to give you guys some valuable content, some relatable entertainment, whatever the fuck you want to call it, I don't care. I am navigating a period of my life right now where I am in the void. I am in the void, and I feel like I have stepped from one room to another, and I'm going through, it feels like I was in one room. My life is represented by being in one room. And for a long time, or the recent months or so, maybe the past year, I have been approaching the exit door of this room. And I have been approaching my next room that I'm going to go into in my life. And beyond this door is a hallway to the next door and the next chapter and whatever that may hold in a more concise form that is not so much just this floating in between zone or this transition period. And as I've been inching towards this door, I have noticed more and more and more and more the things that I have in my life, the beliefs that I carry, the pressures that I hold from external systems, people, forces, whatever, that do not serve me, do not belong to me, and do not align with where I am going and the person who I want to be, or the life that I want to have. These things are becoming more and more and more and more and more apparent to me, and it has led me to go a little bit into hermit crab mode and to just completely pull away from a lot of things that I had been doing out of pressure or force or pleasing others or shoulds or feeling like, oh, I have to do this thing. I have to post on Instagram this amount of times a week. I have to do this. I have to record perfectly here. I have to make this person happy. I have to act this way. I have to believe this. All these things. You all can relate to this. I promise you, you can relate. Just because you think that everything's fine right now does not mean that there's not something of yours that you're carrying that does not belong to you. Because I'm telling you, every single human being is carrying some belief or trauma or memory or whatever, some inherited system that does not belong to them. So anyways, in this process of being in this room and inching towards this door and becoming more and more and more and more clear of all the parts of my life and my psyche and my subconscious that don't serve me, I, as I said, have been led to a period of the in-between, the void, where I have gotten to this door, I have opened it, I have stepped out into the hallway, I have closed the door behind me, and I have turned my back to it, and I am now walking into my next chapter. My next chapter of life, guys. This sounds so cringe, but no, it doesn't. Shut the fuck up. No, it doesn't. Anyways, you're following me here, okay? We're going from one season of life to another season of life, and we are shedding a lot of layers that don't belong to us in between. Everyone can probably relate to this at some point because we all are constantly changing, maneuvering, shifting our lives and ourselves and growing, I hope, into better, happier, more aligned versions of ourselves who are living lives that feel more connected to these more aligned versions of us. And I feel like the more and more that you continue to grow and you go through transition periods, the more you actually get closer, the closer you get, to being more yourself, like more completely you. Like all of these evolutions, all of this shedding, all of these transitions, whatever you want to call them, they don't make you into a new person. They make you more yourself than you have ever allowed yourself to express because you were being held down by so many other things that were not meant for you to carry, and you have just been kind of subjected to the influence of other people, society, ideologies, however you want to put it. This is like the process of life. Like this is a whole part of life, whole point of life, to be transitioning away from all that's not you and coming back to more of yourself and being in more of your authentic expression. I talked about this a lot in last week's episode, so today I really want to focus on the void experience, because after leaving room number 1 and entering this hallway where I feel like I currently am in my life, I feel such a deep sense of clarity, peace, quiet. Like, finally, my subconscious is no longer stirring with so much that doesn't belong to me. Like, it just feels like things are becoming more clear. Like, clear, clear, clear. That's the only word I keep hearing is clear. Everything is becoming more clear to me. It's clear where I have overgiven myself. It's clear where I have sacrificed for the sake of other people, or where I have abandoned myself, or what pressures I'm putting on myself that I truly don't even fucking care about. Things that I don't like have any vested interest in actually abiding by in my life, such as the posting regimen or whatever. Things that don't really matter to me, but I feel like are things that I quote unquote should have followed. It's all becoming clear. That's one thing that the void will do, is it will make you feel isolated. It will make you feel like you don't really know exactly where you're going, but you know you're going somewhere. And for me, it feels like on both a conscious and subconscious level, so much is getting cleared out and shifted around and like stirred up behind the scenes that I might not be consciously aware of or even able to understand. Like, God, the divine, is cooking up something for me that I could not possibly come up with of my own accord, on my own time, with my own thoughts, with what I know to be possible for myself. Because we can only imagine for the future things that we already know to be comfortable for us now, or things that we just are aware of. And I don't know if you guys can relate, but I've had plenty of experiences where I think that I want something. I want this specific thing, or this is how I imagine my person to be, or this is what I want my apartment or my house or whatever to look like. This is like whatever. You come up with this idea of something that you want and the way that you might get it and how it might work out as best for you as you could possibly imagine. And then, turns out, something actually works out for you that's literally better than you ever could have imagined, that is like beyond the realm of what you consciously knew was possible, just based on the evidence of what you have experienced and seen in your own life. And you're like, holy shit, this is actually crazy, because literally I could not have, there's no way if I tried to force that or control it or manipulate all of the circumstances and like put all this extra effort into making changes to my life, like there's no way that I could have even gotten close to the outcome that I actually had, which I got by just trusting that God, the divine, whatever you believe in, is taking care of me when I'm going through big transition periods or you're looking for something that you really want. There's a phrase that I like, I've heard many times before, that says, fill in your word for whatever you believe, God, universe, whatever the fuck you feel comfortable with. I truly do not fucking care what you believe. I personally think that it's important to believe that there is a higher power of some sort that is guiding you, and is a benevolent, all-loving, like unconditional loving source that, in my belief, is like the energy of life beyond all living things, like conscious beings, plants, like everything that we see that has consciousness is like everything is part of God's creation. But anyways, whatever you believe in, insert the phrases you want. I cannot fucking speak. Holy shit. Insert the phrases you want. The universe never says no. It only says yes, not right now, or I have something better for you. That has been proven true to me time and time and time again, with like many different things. And I've talked about this before on the podcast and I think on social media as well. But it's very true. It's extremely true. And it's relevant to being in this period of the void, because right now, I have no idea what's coming. Like, I really don't. All I know is I'm so sick and tired of living by everyone else's standards and what everyone else expects of me to do. And like all of these like inherited pressures and this force behind everything of like, make this person happy or do this thing to look this way to these people or just blah, blah, blah. Like just such stupid, irrelevant shit that I just truly don't give a fuck about. All I know is I'm so tired of following that. And I'm so tired of listening to it. And I'm so tired of ignoring the very, 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 very divine, strong wisdom that already lives inside of me that knows that the best way for me to be operating is the best way that works for me, however that may look. Whether it's social media, whether it's this podcast, whether it's whatever the fuck in my life and yours, the best thing for you to do for yourself, and like the best system to follow is just the one that works the best for you and is tailored to you, regardless of what Tony Robbins or Alex Hormozy or whatever personal development guru online, whatever anyone else says, regardless of anything that they say. They are their own people, as successful as they may be. They are their own people. They have a very specific background of their childhood, of their life, of what works best for them, how they work, how they interact with the world, their design, their uniqueness, and they have found success through means and methods that, yes, are very applicable and helpful to many people. Nonetheless, that doesn't mean that it's going to work for you, or that if it doesn't work for you, that means there's something wrong with you, or it's like user error. No. Everything that we get as advice for how to go about our lives in whatever way that may look, whatever sector of life, you have to discern for yourself what actually works best for you. For you. And I know me, and I know how powerful my voice is, and sharing, and my expression, and just how everything's going to work out. I'm fully freaking aware of this. But nonetheless, part of me just still sometimes feels this pressure to fit into the status quo and match what everyone else wants. And oh my God, what if someone thinks that because I haven't posted on Instagram since May 26th that I've given up on my account and I'm a loser, and they think that I just, was embarrassed, so I deleted everything, and blah, blah, blah. What if they think that? Why do I even care? Why do I care? None of that is true or relevant to my mission, to my purpose, to sharing my voice, to anything. And I know that similar to the experiences I've had where I have surrendered to God's will and I have allowed things to fall into place naturally without me forcing them, I'm going to do the same thing during, right now and at the end, whatever you want to say, of this void period. I'm doing the exact same thing right now. I'm taking a step back from social media. I'm taking a step back from giving my energy to any fucking whoever the fuck does not deserve it and has not earned it and does not warrant it, who I do not feel connected to. And I am just pulling back from everything that does not feel authentic to me. Not from a place of avoidance, not from a place of being selfish or rash or just fuck everything, I fucking hate everything, I'm just gonna go hide in a hole. Somewhat of that energy, a little bit, tiny little bit. My ego is definitely literally fuck everything that doesn't belong to me, but more importantly, it's from a very powerful place of neutrality and discernment, where I have just realized in this hallway of life, in this void period, wow, there's a lot from the past version of life, from the old room, that is actively coming, decaying from my system and being cleared out and stirring around and just getting, like I said, cleared out of the way. But this is where the void period becomes so important, because when we go through periods of life that are like this, where there's transition periods and you're shedding and it's whatever, it's just like the seasons in of the earth, spring, summer, fall, winter. It's just like the seasons where you're going through winter and it's fall to winter. Room 1 is fall, the void is winter, and then the next room is spring. You're going through a period where all the stuff that was not meant for you, that has been shed, that is dying off, is decaying, hypothetically, subconscious beliefs, debris, whatever you want to call it. All of it's decaying, and things are getting quiet, and you're navigating this period, and it feels really weird, and it feels like nothing's really happening. But really, during the winter, after all the leaves have fallen and everything is decaying, all of the work is happening beneath the ground. All of the work is happening in the soil, on the ground. You can't see it. You can't feel it. If you look at a forest in the dead of winter, you'd be like, nothing's happening here. But so much of the literal ground roots level from which a new forest or new plants in the forest will then again bloom or grow in the spring are being formed. We are forming a new foundation when we are in the void period. But yet, it still seems like something just feels weird in this time. I honestly feel a little weird right now. It's nothing's really happening. I'm kind of trusting this pull away from old systems, patterns, habits that don't really work for me anymore, that I don't feel resonant with. But besides that, I'm nothing's really going on. Like, I'm not really taking like major action to like go after these goals or shift this thing or whatever. Like, I don't fucking care. I'm literally straight up just putting my hands back, like putting my hands up, leaning back, and just being like, yeah, I have no fucking clue what's going on right now, but I know something's happening. God is stirring up something behind the scenes. Something's going on. And lest I remind you that if we do not have the rest period of winter, if we do not build up the fertile ground foundations that comes from decay and death and rebirth and the whole cycles of nature that also are reflective of our series, of our. I'm just gonna take a pause for a second. Okay, reset. If we do not go through the same cycles that nature does when it comes to death and rebirth, whether that is literally in nature, like I said, or in our lives, we are skipping a very natural step. Like, nature is very reflective of the periods of life that we go through ourselves. And we have just become so fucking disconnected, not just from ourselves, but also from literally the world around us that we live in, and Mother Earth, Gaia, that we don't even remember. It's like we don't even remember our fucking, like, the connection that is deeply like born in all of us and all of our cells, that is so connected to the earth and her cycles and just being like a biological living being on this planet. We're so disconnected from that like we don't even remember the history that humanity's. This is not anything new, like understanding the cycles of death and rebirth and nature and seeing that being reflected in our lives. But since we're so disconnected from ourselves and nature and the world, the natural world, we forget that and we don't realize that. And then you can be going through a period similar to what I'm going through right now, just being in the void and being like, nothing's really happening. I'm not taking action, but everything's shifting, or I don't really know if anything's shifting. Like, what's going on? You need to remember that this period is absolutely essential if you want to continue growing in your life. Because imagine what happens if we just never have winter. Or, well, I guess you're going to say, there's places in the earth where there's not seasons, like the equator, whatever, shut the fuck up. Talking about 4 seasons, winter is very essential for the biome in order to build up a new layer from which the forest can continue to grow and be rebuilt. It's similar to how wildfires can be very healthy for forests on, like, whatever basis of time is healthy depending on the forest, but wildfires and completely clearing out a forest and being like fully starting from scratch and being in like a period of complete newness, it's something that's very healthy for these ecosystems. And it's the same thing for us during void periods. I genuinely don't really have any like clear advice for anyone going through the void other than to just surrender to it. Just surrender to it. If you're like me and you can't really figure out what direction you want to go in, how you want to go, but you just know that something's changing and something is shifting and something big is coming, but you have no idea what that is, just know. You there's no way you can know. You cannot know, or like I could not possibly fathom the things that have worked out for me in my past that have been way better than I thought they would be, because it wasn't even in my conscious scope of awareness to understand that something like that was possible to work out so well for me. And when you're in this void period and you feel a little lost or confused, please just remember that what's coming for you is something that is way better than you could imagine. Even if it involves some trials and tribulations and some turns or reroutes, you're going to get to a spot that is way better than you are right now. I promise you that is the case every single time. And just because it feels like nothing's happening right now, or you feel like I'm not really taking action, or nothing feels like it's shifting, or what's wrong with me? Why is nothing changing? Oh, I promise you, that does not mean that nothing is happening. There is a lot happening behind the scenes, being put in place for you, things being lined up that you could not do with your own control, of your own accord, in the same way that God could do it for you. Because truly, guys, like, if you even try to make things so fixed and so perfect and so controlled, I guarantee you it turns out worse every single time than it would if you just let things unfold for you and let things be taken care of for you by the divine. One of my mentors, Mads, had this analogy of like, it's like baking a cake. Like, you have done all the work, you've put together all the ingredients, you have like stirred the pot, whatever the fuck you want to say, you put the batter in, and you have put the cake in the oven. You did all the work, you did all the action steps to put the ingredients together to make the cake. And like my analogy before, this would be like being in room 1. But now, in order to actually bake the cake, in order for you to eat it, you have to let it sit there and just wait and be in the void and feel like nothing's really happening and say, I don't really know what's going on. I'm not taking action right now. Like, nothing seems to be changing. I don't know what's going on. But then at the end of the void period, all of a sudden, at the end of your whatever minute timer when the cake is done, you have a whole ass delicious beautiful cake that you get to enjoy. And this whole time it was cooking, it was baking, it was waiting for you. The whole time that you were like, oh my god, nothing's happening, what's going on? It was just in the process, it's coming. And this same metaphor can be applied to the void seasons of life. So if you're in this with me, just know I'm happy for us, I'm excited for us. I feel like what's coming is way better than what has been for you and for me, and honestly just for this entire fucking world at this point. Like, holy Jesus Christ. But anyways, okay guys, this is a bit of a stream of consciousness episode, like I said, but I hope that you guys enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you're navigating this period too, or you know someone who is, send this episode to them. Let them know you're thinking about them. Send me a DM on Instagram. Let us chat about it, and I will leave this there. So go be your most organic selves, and I will see you in the next one.